Hi everyone, it's Natasha from the Thriftaholic Mama. I am back for another video today. I was trying to get rid of the glare of my glasses, but it doesn't seem like it's working. So we're just gonna roll with it. First, happy Friday. I feel like now that I'm working full-time again, I really value my weekends for sure. And Fridays cannot come fast enough, and they seem like they go very slow in order to get to Friday. And it feels like the weekends go super fast. I'm sure that you all can relate. So today's video, I am going to do just a recap on MS and where I'm at currently with MS as far as other things going on that was caused because of MS. I'll go over that information as well. But first, let me just reintroduce myself. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, my name is Natasha. I am a 42-year-old mother and wife. I also design. I also have published a book. All kinds of different things. I also resell on platforms like Poshmark, and just recently opened my own shop on Etsy called Magnolia-lee Creates. I will leave a link to that in the description box below if you'd like to take a look. And also I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis November 1st of 2007. If anybody has a chronic illness or disease you can relate to, it just does its own thing on a day-to-day basis. Like, it doesn't, everything changes all of a sudden all the time, and you just kind of have to try to keep up with it. That's the best way that I can kind of describe it for those that don't have a chronic illness or disease. But I was diagnosed November 1st of 2007. I'm sure I probably had it when I was in high school, because I had a lot of the same symptoms when I was in high school, and they just assumed or thought that it had to do with the fact that I had heavy menstrual periods. And so that they just chalked it up to being part of that. So I do think that I've had it for much longer than when I was diagnosed. I actually was in the process of trying to figure out what was going on with me for probably 3 additional years before I was actually diagnosed. The symptoms being numbness and tingling everywhere, parts of my body. It was just, I couldn't feel parts of my body. I also have had optic neuritis several times, which means basically either you cannot see out of one of your eyes, or I've had it where when I'm driving down the road, in this particular eye, I could only see half of the car, but the car was doubled on that one side. Currently, I still have issues with my eyes. I see lots of bursts of almost like, I want to call them strobes. So going to concerts is almost, I can't do it. Sitting outside in the backyard when it's, dark and all the lights, beautiful lights are out, I can only sit out there a certain amount of time, because all of them just have probably 5 little strobes bursting out of them. And that also causes me to not be able, I haven't been able to drive at night for probably, I would say 2 years now. Also, another thing that I found out or got tested for when we got here to Arizona. If I have not mentioned it yet, I have in a previous video, but the medical availability and things here in Arizona is so much better, I feel like, in my opinion, than in Colorado. So I did the testing and everything because I have such bad bladder problems, and so it is a very uncomfortable, and all your business is out everywhere. But I had all the different tests done on my bladder. As far as my bladder's not very strong. and it holds way more urine than it probably should. And when I go to the restroom, I know this is TMI, but hey, this is all part of having a chronic illness, and I want to put all this information out there because if you're having those problems, just know that you probably would like to get it checked, or if you already have a chronic illness and just want to know if somebody else may be having these same problems. But my bladder does not fully release all of the pee. It still holds onto quite a bit of it, and so that has been a problem. And now currently, anytime I laugh or sneeze, I know it could possibly be from just having children, but I don't have any control of my bladder, if that makes any sense, without being too graphic about it. I will pee a little bit anytime that I laugh or cough or sneeze. So it's getting worse to the point where I think I do need to see the urologist again and possibly see if I can do something about actually fixing it, because it happens here at home because I don't really go anywhere. But if I were to go out and those things happen, I would be so embarrassed, and I would be embarrassed for my husband or my children. So that is something that I do need to get fixed, or try to see if I can get fixed. I do have a lots of problems with my circulation in my legs. I do a lot of water therapy exercises in my heated pool to try to help with that. Like I said in my last video, it'll actually release tonight at 4 o'clock. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't remember now. It's part of having MS. Your brain just. But anyways, I'll come back to that when I remember. But Kesimpta, I have been on it just over 3 years now. I have not had any type of reactions to the medicine itself, and I also have not had any injection site reactions. So Kesimpta is one of the options as far as treatment for it. There is no cure for multiple sclerosis, but this is one of the latest, I would say, like top 5 of the newest options for people who have MS, and I think it's a really great choice. I don't have any. I know when I had my infusions for my Tysabri, which infusion means that you go in on a monthly basis and have an infusion of the medicine over a 2-hour period. And I know the days that I would have that done, I would be very either sick or just really tired. And I don't find that to be the case with Kesimpta. I don't have those type of symptoms after. I don't really find myself having any symptoms at all. It just comes in I've done a video on it. I can link it, actually what it looks like, the Kesimpta medication, how it comes packed, and how you administer it. I did it live on one of my videos. I injected myself with the medication. Again, I'll link that video. But if anybody is trying to decide on the type of medicine that they would like to start with, I definitely would do my research. Now, this is a different answer to, I've had a couple of people ask me, and I've had to think about it. If I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis today, knowing what I know now about everything, I don't know if I would immediately, get one of those medicines. Some of them are so stinking bad for you. And I don't know that I would put all that in my body. Now, when I was diagnosed, for the past 11 or so years, I have been pretty sick with MS in so many different aspects. And I guess if I was that sick, maybe I would change my mind. But if I was just being diagnosed and I really didn't have any symptoms per se, that were keeping me from being able to do things. If my only symptoms were that maybe my lower extremities were numb or tingling or something simple like that, that it wasn't really causing me to not be able to do the day-to-day things. I hope that makes sense. I probably would take my time and do a lot more research, because I do remember when I was diagnosed, and again, the protocol and things may be completely different since it was quite a while ago. The neurologist pretty much gave me, these are my 3 options, and we're sitting there in the office. Like, this is literally 5 minutes after I was diagnosed with having MS. He presented me with my 3 options. I don't remember what they all were at that time. I believe they were Copaxone, Rebif, and something else. And not knowing anything, and just him presenting those 3 to me, not having the opportunity to actually research them, he wanted me to give him like an answer right then. And so I chose Copaxone. But if you're in that situation, again, where you are not having severe symptoms at that time, I would ask him to let me think about it, let me do my research, not be so pushy, if lack of a better word. Let me do my research, because these are things that are going into your body, and it needs to be your choice, not the doctor's choice for you. He can obviously voice what he thinks would be the best for you, but it's your job for your body to go home and do the research and to make the most educated decision that you possibly can, and to not feel like you're being forced into making that type of decision, because they do affect all of your important organs. I do remember I was on Copaxone for a while, and then they switched me to Rebif, and I couldn't be on Rebif because it was affecting my liver. So I think in the whole span of everything between the Copaxone and the Rebif, I think there was another one in between that, and then went to Tysabri, which I was on for 7.5 years before moving here to Colorado. I would also look up information on the JC virus, what medications involve the JC virus, what the JC virus is, how it can affect you, the symptoms of it. You are tested for it every 6 months, and so I was on the Tysabri for 7.5 years. I was tested every 6 months for it, and I was always negative, which is a good thing to be negative for it. The problem is when I moved here to Arizona, was looking for a new neurologist, they did all of my blood work and everything to start out as a new patient, and my JC virus came back positive. So then I could no longer be on Tysabri. So that was no longer an option for me. If Tysabri is one of the medicines that you are currently thinking about doing, just do your research before you make that decision, because there are definitely side effects or things that could happen if you choose down the road to change to something different. And I don't remember ever being told that information, and maybe if I would have been given the opportunity to actually do some research on it before making that decision, my choice probably would have been different. Luckily, I haven't had any adverse side effects from being on that medicine. But again, I would just do my research on all of your different choices. There are copay assistant programs for pretty much all of them. I know that my Kesimpta that I'm on, there is a copay program. So basically, I have not paid not one dime out of my pocket. Whatever my insurance does not cover, the Kesimpta co-payment assistance program will pay for that. And I don't even believe that they go by your income. I just think that is just the program they have, and it may just be because it's such a newer medicine that they are wanting, I'm assuming, to have the opportunity to use, the people that are doing their Kesimpta co-payment program, the information, or because you do speak to somebody from that Kesimpta co-payment assistance program every couple months, just to make sure that they can log how you're doing, if you had any adverse side effects from the shot, or did you have any symptoms after you gave yourself the injection. All those things, I think that is probably part of the reason why they're doing the Kesimpta copay program, for that reason, so that they can probably get more accurate information on how Kesimpta is doing overall for symptoms, how it's helping with progression or not of MS. So yeah, those are things that are currently Kesimpta. I'm doing very well on. The injection is not painful. The sound of it is a lot worse than the actual shot itself. So if anybody has any specific questions about the shot or MS, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them for you. I'm not a pro on MS or the medicines. I have had MS for quite a while, and it is not a fun disease at all. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So if anybody tells you that it's no big deal, I would disagree. It's taken me a long time and of starting to know my body and to listen to my body to get to where I am today, where I feel like I have it managing it pretty well. I do still have terrible days, but in getting to this point, it has been brutal. It has been lonely. It's been hard, and because the biggest thing, and I've heard this several times, is that people just look at you, and because you don't physically have anything that's showing that you are sick, that they, one, forget that you're sick, two, do not believe that you're sick, or three, just, I don't know, basically just the two. Forget that you're sick, don't even believe that you're sick because you don't outwardly show those things. I wish that other people could feel or see the things that are going on in our bodies, even when you try to explain it to somebody else. It's difficult for them to understand. Like when you explain to them that you feel like when you get out of bed sometimes that the bottoms of your feet feel like you're literally standing on fire, or that you work out. These are all examples I'm giving you of certain situations that I've been in. I have a very hard time with working out to an excess of overheating, because my body does not do well with that, and it starts shaking. And there are a couple of times when I lived in Colorado, we had a tri-level house, that it was very difficult for me to go up and down the stairs for several hours after working out, making it just difficult in general to work out. And I'm sure, there's plenty of people that would say that that's just a cop-out or whatever, but again, if you have MS or a chronic illness, that's just a couple of things that I can list. There's issues with your sex drive, there's issues with depression, there's all kinds of different things, and the biggest one I would say is feeling alienated from the rest of your family at times, because again, sometimes you're just like, do you forget that I'm sick? Like, if you tell them that you're tired, like, it's not the type of tired that like normal people are tired. This is like bone tired, like exhausted, cannot move a limb, just physically just done. And my family finally understands that, but I think it's very difficult, and I wish it was a little bit easier to try to explain those things to your family members. But it is a very lonely disease at times, and you just have to remember that God never gave you more than you can handle. And I used to have to remind myself that a lot, because there were times in this battle with MS and everything that I had to do a lot of it on my own, and I will go through that in a different video, a deeper dive into that. But yes, I'm married, yes, I have children, but a lot of the things and the symptoms and everything that I was going through, doctor's appointments, I did all by myself. And so again, it's just a lonely way to be, and you just have to be your advocate for yourself. Nobody else knows how you feel, and if they disregard how you feel, you just maybe just stop the conversation and just move on, because it's not worth trying to explain to somebody else how you're feeling and have them disregard that information, or don't believe that information, or make light of that information. But the biggest thing I can probably tell you is that it will get better the longer you go through, find a process, find a daily schedule in the way that you do things. Figure out your body on, does your body not like being cold? What does your body do when it is hot? Because my body does not enjoy being hot. I will break out almost into a cold sweat if I get too hot, a headache. But then the biggest between hot and cold is really bad for me. Even getting something out of the freezer, or reaching down and getting something out of a cooler full of ice, it just kills my hands, and it just shoots pain all the way up my arms. That is one of a big thing that is still a struggle for me. There are times when it's difficult for me to peel potatoes, and then other times I'm fine. So again, you have to figure out what is best for you, and you have to be vocal and not just assume that everybody in your family is supposed to know how your body's reacting this week, again, because it changes from day to day. You have to vocalize that information and not just assume that they should all know this, because they don't. And I don't honestly think it's because they don't care. I just don't think that they have taken the time to discuss that information with you. So it's on you to make that happen, so that you don't feel as alone. And I wish I would have done that a lot sooner, because I think it would have made your whole the way that your life is going to be now with the diagnosis, that you won't be in it alone, that you'll have somebody else to help you, to be able to confide in when you're having like a really, really rough day. And there will be, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. It is not a fun disease to have. Yeah, it is difficult, but I hope that you find this information helpful. And again, just advocate for yourself. If something feels off, then you need to say something. If you need your family to be more present when certain things happen, then you need to say that. If you need to not do certain things, go to baseball games or something when it is 80 degrees out, you need to voice that. You need to explain to them, it's not because I don't want to go. My body reacts this way. I'm sorry that you may not understand that, but that is just the way that it is. So this is the change that we have to make. So if there's any questions you may have, or situations that you may have been in and would just like some advice, again, I'm not a doctor. I've just had it for a long time, and so different situation things, it may be something that I have experienced. So I hope that this information is helpful to you. I feel like I'm doing way better now here in Arizona than I did when I was in Colorado Again, I do pool therapy for myself several days a week. I also make sure that I get my laps in. I try to move, because I do a job from home, which is fantastic, but it is a lot of sitting or standing and typing. So I just need to make sure I get movement, and so I do a lot of that in pool. So I hope you guys have a great Friday. I hope this information is helpful to somebody out there. And if there's anything else I can help you with, I hope you guys have a great day, and just reach out if you need anything. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.